I saw the box before I saw her smile. White silk. Perfect ribbon. A trap dressed as a gift. My husband didn't flinch. He just said 2 words. "Don't touch it." And in that second, his entire SEAL team stood up. Just an unusual story, where the most dangerous wars aren't fought overseas. They're fought at the wedding table. I felt the room tilt when she said it. My mother's voice floated over the clinking glasses and soft music like a blade slipping between ribs. Quiet, intentional, lethal. "We're passing the car his parents gave you over to your sister," she said, smiling the way she always did when she wanted to look generous while being cruel. My sister's laugh was shrill enough to crack the varnish on the reception tables. "Relax," she added, brushing invisible lint from her dress. "It's just a car." The guests didn't look at me. They looked at the chandeliers, the flowers, the glossy floors, anywhere but the bride, suddenly frozen in her own wedding. And my groom, Daniel, just stared at them with a calm I didn't yet understand. It was the calm right before a match touches gasoline. He raised his glass slowly and said, "Is that so?" That was the moment everything in me went cold. Because I knew the wedding wasn't the beginning. It was the culmination. And none of us were walking out unchanged. I met Daniel 3 years ago, when I still believed loyalty was something you earned by being good, by being patient, by being the daughter who didn't argue, who always gave more than she received. He admired that about me. Said I had a quiet strength. He kissed me like I mattered. Listened like my thoughts were worth something. Loved me in a way my family never learned how to. Back then I thought love made me safe. Back then, I hadn't discovered the kind of betrayal that grows roots in your own bloodline. Started small. Offhand comments. Strange hesitations in my mother's voice. A text I saw on my sister's phone. Deleted too quickly, but not quickly enough. Get her to sign it before she realizes. Realizes what? Car. The marriage. The inheritance. A house. My family had never been subtle in their greed. But involving my wedding, the one thing they knew mattered to me? That was a new low. Then I found the folder tucked in my mother's desk. A draft transfer form. With my signature forged. Floppy. Rushed. They were planning to take the car Daniel's parents gifted us. A symbol of welcome, of family. And humiliate me before I'd even cut the cake. That was when I understood. They didn't see me as a daughter. I was an asset. One they assumed would stay quiet. They were wrong. I didn't confront them. I learned from them. Smiles hide knives. Silence is a weapon. Timing is everything. So I planned not just the wedding but the unveiling. I gathered evidence. Screenshots, documents, recordings. I spoke to Daniel, not as a wounded bride, but as an ally preparing for war. His parents were old money. Quiet money. The kind that doesn't yell when crossed, but rearranges lives with spectacular finesse. We set everything in place weeks before the wedding. While my mother prattled on about floral centerpieces, and my sister practiced walking in heels she couldn't afford. They would never see it coming. Back to the wedding. The moment. Their moment, they thought. When my mother announced the transfer, she expected me to crumble. Cry. Beg. Instead I breathed steady, slow. Daniel's eyes flicked to me. A silent signal. He set his glass down and said, loud enough for the room to hush. "It's interesting you mentioned the car." My mother froze. Daniel reached into his jacket and pulled out a folded document. Because this morning, the car and all related assets were legally transferred to my wife alone. And there's something else. My sister scoffed, but her voice cracked. "What else?" He nodded to me. I stepped forward, pulled the small recorder from my bouquet, and pressed play. Their voices filled the room. "Get her to sign it before she realizes. Bleed her dry, she's too meek to fight back. Once the wedding's over, she'll have nothing." The room's oxygen vanished. My sister turned gray. My mother's smile dropped so fast it looked painful. Whispering. My cousins backing away. My aunt covering her mouth. My father not even pretending to defend them. Daniel's parents stood cold, elegant, unimpressed. This marriage, his mother said, will proceed without thieves posing as family. Security, actual security, approached my mother and sister. Not to arrest, to escort. The humiliation was the sentence. They walked out of my wedding under a rain of whispers and judgment. Exactly the way they'd planned for me. People ask if I regret it. It was too much. But here's the truth I learned that day. Some betrayals deserve tears. There's deserved consequences. And when the doors closed behind them and the music resumed, I finally felt something I'd never felt in their presence before. Free. She thought love was weakness. But I showed her. Truth is the sharpest weapon of all. Just an unusual story, where every silence has a reason, and every gift might be a war. If you've ever been betrayed by someone who called you family, comment, I see you. If this story moved you, share it. And if you believe in quiet strength over loud revenge, subscribe. 'Cause the next story might be yours.